Get into a fight that ends with one of them getting run over. What charges the suspect is facing.
And we're learning more about an overnight shooting in Schertz, what police say led up to the incident.
And showers and storms around South Texas this afternoon. We're going to take a closer look at the radar for you coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
An overnight crash on the north side has some people losing sleep, then spending a morning with no air conditioning.
The out-of-control SUV caused quite a bit of damage at an apartment complex on Patricia Drive near Parliament.
Katrina Weber tells us why police still do not know who is to blame.
The sudden and unplanned stop for this SUV, according to San Antonio police, came as the result of too much speed. They say the driver lost control on Patricia Drive near Parliament just before 2:30 this morning, then caused a commotion that had people at the Tuscany Park apartments jumping out of bed. One man told me off camera he felt the vibration as the SUV slammed into his bedroom wall. That was after it took out a metal gate near his front door. While his family wasn't hurt, a woman in the SUV was. She went to a hospital, but police say her injuries weren't serious. They say she was the only one of the 3 people in the vehicle who hung around after this crash. According to the man who lives in that apartment, the SUV hit the curb and then went rolling right through here, somehow missing every one of these trees except that one. A crew spent the morning repairing several air conditioning units just outside his patio. They also were either damaged or destroyed in the crash. It's still unclear who will get the repair bill. Police were not able to track down the other woman and man who ran from the scene, and they say the SUV involved appears to be stolen. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A man is facing charges because police say he ran over another man after they had an argument on the west side. Jose Alex de Luna is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Police tell us early this morning the victim was visiting a woman in the 4800 block of Birdie Lane, and that's when de Luna showed up to the home. The victim and the suspect got into an argument before getting into their cars to leave. And that's when officers tell us the suspect ran over the victim, hit 2 parked cars, and then kept driving. The victim was taken to the hospital with a hurt leg.
New details this noon after a man was found shot in Schertz overnight. Police say they got into an argument over vehicle parts. Police say just before 11 last night, they found a man in his 30s in the 11,400 block of East FM 1518. They tell us he was shot twice after he got into a fight with a man in his 40s. Police say the pair was at odds over car parts. The victim was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds in both legs. He should be okay. Charges are expected to be filed against the suspect.
Right now, BCSO deputies are looking for a woman who has been missing since Tuesday night in far North Bexar County. 40-year-old Sandy Cisneros was last seen at her home in the 4000 block of Bayshore around 11:20 p.m. Cisneros is about 5 feet tall with brown hair and brown eyes. She also has a noticeable scar on her forehead. Deputies say she drives a silver Honda Pilot. If you've seen Cisneros or have any information about her whereabouts, you're asked to call the sheriff's office at 210-335-6000.
Our families, friends, and neighbors are all counting on us to do our part. So please avoid large crowds this weekend. Wear a mask if you're running to the store. Wash your hands regularly.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg taking to social media last night to once again plead with our community to make healthy choices ahead of Labor Day so that this long weekend doesn't mirror the 4th of July. This comes as health officials report 16 more deaths from COVID-19 in Bexar County. They say those deaths happened between July 14th and September 2nd. Mayor Ron Nirenberg also reported 157 new cases last night. He also says the 7-day average is at 180 cases. The risk meter stands between safe and moderate, and health officials hope to keep moving in the right direction. And the race to find an effective vaccine continues. Now you can take part in that effort. BAMC is one of the 5 locations that will have phase 3 trial evaluations, and you can be a volunteer. Researchers are looking for people with an increased risk of infection, like healthcare professionals, grocery store workers, restaurant staff, and via bus drivers. If you are interested, we have a link to sign up at KSAT.com. And this long weekend, traditionally a time to get out and enjoy the end of summer. However, because of the pandemic, your options are more limited this year.
And the city of San Antonio and Bexar County both closing parks. That starts at 11:59 tonight, and it lasts until Tuesday morning at 5. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf signed an executive order on August 12th that included closing county parks over the Labor Day weekend. Later, the San Antonio River Authority announced that its parks will be closed, including Confluence Park, part of the Mission Reach area of the Riverwalk. For a full list of park closures, go to KSAT.com. And other closures you should be aware of. City Hall and most municipal offices will be closed on Monday. Also closed, COVID-19 hotline, as well as city-run COVID-19 testing locations at Freeman Coliseum, Cuellar Community Center, and Ramirez Community Center. All Metro Health locations and clinics will also be closed. Public safety and emergency services will remain in operation. And if you have plans to head down to the coast, the beach near Bob Hall Pier in Corpus Christi is also closed. Nueces County decided to shut it down this week due to damage caused by Hurricane Hannah. The beach will be closed until October 2nd.
And a local volunteer fire department says they're struggling to make ends meet due to negative impact of COVID-19. This year, paying basic utilities and filling up tanks of the ATA Bear fire trucks has been a struggle. That's why the volunteer fire department in the county's far south side is hosting a plate sale. Alicia Barrera visited the department and has more on how the community can help.
Good afternoon. Well, spaghetti and desserts could help keep the lights on at the Atascosa Bexar County Line Volunteer Fire Department. Their event is happening tomorrow, Saturday, from noon to 6 p.m. and these spaghetti plates are just $7, and that's the way that you can help. William Lay with the Atascosa Volunteer Fire Department says their headquarters may not have many luxuries, but their personnel has a lot of heart to serve their community at any cost. According to Lay, this volunteer fire department receives $16,000 a year from the county, but that's simply not enough to cover normal operating costs. Usually they help bridge that gap through fundraisers. However, all have been canceled due to COVID-19, which is why this weekend's plate sale is crucial to the department.
We have a truck payment that's almost $10,000. Insurance runs about $5 to $8 grand a year, and right now we don't have that. We're hoping to pull in $4,000 is what our goal is.
$7 will get you a homemade spaghetti meat sauce plate with salad, garlic bread, dessert, and a drink. Again, this event is taking place tomorrow, Saturday, from noon to 6 p.m. and the address is the 25,500 block of Pleasanton Road. You can also head to KSAT.com for all the details. Reporting Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
And you can get $5 off of the registration fee for this year's Head for the Cure 5K if you register by September 7th and use the code Labor Day. That's in all caps. Do that and you can get the discount.
This year's 5K will look a little different because of the pandemic. It will be virtual. You can run, walk, or bike a 5K in your neighborhood on September 26th and snap a selfie during your activity.
Then join Head for the Cure on Facebook or YouTube and share your picture. We have a link to register and more information on the event right now on KSAT.com. All right, Texas State football kicking off its season tomorrow at home, but at least 4 players are out due to COVID-19. Larry Ramirez has the details later in sports.
President Donald Trump and his campaign pushing back today on an article in the Atlantic magazine alleging he repeatedly made disparaging comments about fallen U.S. troops.
Now, all of the accusations came from anonymous sources, and the president and others who've worked in the White House have denied them.
ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the latest.
They made it up.
President Donald Trump forcefully denying explosive allegations made in the Atlantic magazine that he disparaged U.S. soldiers who were killed and wounded in combat.
I would be willing to swear on anything that I never said that about our fallen heroes. There is nobody that respects them more.
ABC News has not independently verified the reporting which appeared in the Atlantic Thursday night and is not detailing the alleged comments attributed to unidentified sources. The writer, Jeffrey Goldberg, on MSNBC this morning.
I think he's genuinely confused by service. I do think that these comments are in line with a general and publicly stated outlook about the importance of material gain, the importance of not being a loser.
The anonymous accusations in Goldberg's report do echo some past disparaging comments about military service the president made about the late Senator John McCain in 2015. McCain was tortured for 5.5 years as a POW after his plane was shot down over Vietnam.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Progressive veterans group VoteVets.org quickly responding to the report on Twitter with a video of Gold Star parents speaking for their fallen children.
My stepson was not a loser.
My son, Matthew, is not a loser.
In a statement released late Thursday, former Vice President Joe Biden saying, if the revelations in the Atlantic article are true, it's yet another marker of how deeply President Trump and I disagree about the role of the President of the United States. But the president, his campaign, and the White House all united in expressing their outrage, with the White House press office tweeting there wasn't a soul brave enough to put their name on any of these accusations because they're false.
I just think it's a horrible thing that they're allowed to write that.
President Donald Trump has gotten into public spats with Gold Star families in the past. In 2016, criticizing Kazia Khan, the father of a fallen U.S. soldier. And then in 2017, the wife of a fallen black soldier, alleging Trump told her husband knew what he signed up for. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
All right, around this time yesterday, we were keeping our fingers crossed for some rain, and right around my 6 o'clock live shot, it started pouring. Yeah, when I was outside on the southeast side.
The rains came in a big way. It was welcome. The aquifer is jumping up. We're still seeing rain today, by the way. The radar pretty active, and we're seeing that fall over the recharge zone. So the aquifer responding nicely. It's up nearly a foot to 655.9. I would imagine that number will go up even more before it's all said and done. Now, the flip side to this, you get some rain, mold jumps up. It's in a very high category, 18,390. That's a huge number compared to yesterday. We're going to take a look at the radar and get you updated. Coming up.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
Welcome back. So we're in the 70s right now.
It's hard to believe.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's 77 degrees. Huh? Is this a joke, Justin?
This real life?
It's not a practical joke. It is real life. It feels like we've made it through summer, right? We're not officially in the fall yet, but it just feels like we've got those stretches of triple digits behind us now. And there is rain on the radar. Great to see again. This is very similar to yesterday, although we're seeing a little more coverage than we were at this time yesterday. You see the showers and storms lining up from Beeville up to Gonzales. We've seen some rain here around San Antonio, not necessarily over downtown, but on the east side of Bexar County, we've seen quite a bit, and also on the north side. Also showers and storms developing up there around Kerrville, up towards Fredericksburg. We've seen some rain around Gonzales as well. So let's zoom in here on Bexar County. Nice little cluster here on the north side of Bexar County. Then we're seeing some new development along 1604 on the west side. So if you're watching us from Alamo Ranch, you're going to start to get some storms here fairly quickly. Also Helotes, and also seeing some showers and storms down near Somerset, southwest side of Bexar County. Those are trying to slowly work off to the east and northeast. There's a lot of outflow boundaries out there. You can kind of pick them up. One right there. We've got another one moving west right there that's kicking up those showers and storms. So with these outflow boundaries around, we'll see more development here next couple of hours. A little closer look at some of that heavy rain there in northern Bexar County, stretching from Bulverde back over to I-10. Bernie, you are also getting some rain. And then a nice line here starting to develop just to the east of Poth. That is putting out an outflow boundary. And as this moves towards San Antonio, we could see some further development even here in town next couple of hours. So that'll be something to watch. Good rain around Gonzales. We mentioned that. And these are some of the 6-hour totals. We're seeing some estimates here over 2 inches, which is not surprising considering these are pretty efficient rain producers. So 1 to 2 inches is possible if you get underneath one of these heavier storms. And we had some flash flood warnings earlier across parts of northern Hays County. Just to give you an idea where they saw about 4 inches or more. Here's a look at time saver traffic, a TransGuide shot here. This is I-10 at the Dominion. You can see the rain's coming down pretty good. That's that storm up there in northern Bexar County. And so there is going to be some ponding on the roadways in some spots. This is the rainfall from yesterday. There were some pretty good numbers, including here around San Antonio. The airport picked up about 0.2 of an inch. We'll get to add to these totals a little bit today. Here's the setup. We have a disturbance moving through Texas, sort of starting to fall apart, but there's certainly enough lift there, and it's slowly drifting up to the south and west. So with that over top of us, that gives us plenty of lift, and the Futurecast does show a scattering of showers and storms this afternoon. That goes into this evening. Once we lose the daytime heating, you'll see some of this start to go away, but tomorrow we'll put it on repeat again. There are more chances for showers and storms. It looks like we'll get sort of a slug of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that may help to kick off some activity tomorrow afternoon. There's the situation right now. 77 degrees. Feels great out there. Some outflow batteries coming through, and that'll cool us off a little bit. Dew point is at 71. Temperatures highly dependent on where these clouds and where these thunderstorms are, but 70s and 80s. There are a few 90s out there. 91 Creosote Springs, 89 in Cotulla, but rain cool there in New Braunfels. 74 degrees there. Temperatures today are going to be hard. If the rain sticks around, we may not get out of the 80s. We'll see, but right now we're forecasting low 90s here in San Antonio. And we still have to talk about that potential front next week. Still a lot of questions there, whether or not this front's going to make it through. One thing we do know is that it will help to kick off showers and storms, and that will certainly be the case by Wednesday, I think. Some pretty good chances. And if we can get the front through, it'll cool us down too. It'll be more good news. Right now, we're thinking that the temperatures will be in the 80s for highs Wednesday and Thursday next week. But a 40% chance of rain today, 40% chance tomorrow. We dry out a little bit Sunday and Monday, and then picks back up next week. And highs in the 80s. That sounds pretty amazing at this point.
Yeah, but those showers, possible showers this weekend then?
Yeah, at least tomorrow, maybe drying out a little bit Sunday.
All right, so people that are traveling this weekend, drive safely.
That's right.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, Larry, some Aggies football players taking a stand for what they believe in, choosing to opt out.
Yeah, at least 3 of them that I know of have opted out of the upcoming season. One because he says life is more important than football, and the other one because of COVID-19 concerns. Coming up, head coach Jimbo Fisher talks about if he was surprised by these players opting out, and the UAB Blazers of Conference USA have a pretty solid ground attack. We got it coming up.
You know, Brady deserves the right to go out there right now, so I'm excited to watch him run around.
Coach Spav is talking about number 2, Brady McBride, his starting quarterback in Big Board Sports. Texas A&M football recently had some players opt out of the upcoming season. On Tuesday, junior safety Derek Tucker announced he will set out to support Black Lives Matter. And cornerback Elijah Blades announced on social media he was also foregoing the 2020 season, but said he plans to return in 2021. The 6'2" defender who played in 7 games last season, coming up with 19 total tackles and 3 defended passes, was locked into a 4-way competition for a starter with Miles Jones, Brian George, and Jalen Jones. During his weekly press conference Thursday, Jimbo Fisher was asked if he was surprised.
I don't say surprise. I mean, you wish they were there, but you understand the things that are going on. And, you know, they've expressed their reasoning and the things, and that's between us and the things that go on, but nothing bad. They're both great young men and both had an outstanding future. Elijah was just coming off a shoulder surgery. Like I say, he had practiced most of the practice almost the whole time. We give him a little break. He was coming back. He would have been full speed here shortly, but there's other issues and things going on. And he's going to be an outstanding player, outstanding young man. And Tucker, the same thing. And I know Tuck had said he's going to step back and do a lot of things for Black Lives Matter, which is tremendous because, like I say, there's things out there in this world right now that he thinks are very important and we think are very important. And, you know, giving him the opportunities to do that.
Fisher adds that while he does have confidence in others to step up, he does hate losing to great young men. A&M is scheduled to kick off the 2020 season at home against Vanderbilt on September 26th. 4 Texas State football players are in quarantine following contact tracing and will miss the Bobcat season opener with SMU, as reported by the Austin American-Statesman Thursday afternoon. Those players are quarterback Tyler Vitt from MacArthur High School, DB Torrey Spears, and tight end Seth Callaway and Jackson Lanham. As for the game itself versus the Mustangs, the Memphis transfer Brady McBride will start at quarterback for the Bobcats. He won the job by beating out Vitt. Head coach Jake Spavital feels great about handing the ball over to McBride, who can run and pass.
He's had an exceptional fall camp, you know. I think he's came in, he's been pretty driven. You know, he's a coach's kid too, so a lot of this stuff is familiar with him, you know, to him. And I think that he has a unique skill set in terms of being able to extend plays. It's going to be an exciting brand of ball with him. You know, I'm going to have to be smart with the play calls to just understand where he's at and try to contain him a little bit and try to get him some efficient plays, because he's naturally going to go and try to make plays with his feet.
McBride is a sophomore and sat out last season due to NCAA transfer bylaws. Texas State is scheduled to host SMU tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. at Bobcats Stadium. College football is ramping up. UAB hosting Central Arkansas last night. Limited fans in attendance in the stands at Legion Field. Fourth quarter, UAB at Central Arkansas 30. Jermaine Brown Jr. finds a hole, dodges a tackle, and he just glides into the end zone. UAB had 233 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground, and UAB takes it 45-35, setting a Conference USA record with its 19th straight home victory. And in one more final, South Alabama won at Southern Miss 32-21.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
You got it.
Well, scientists are doing all that they can to find treatments for COVID-19, even enlisting the help of an alpaca in Sweden. How he was able to help, still ahead.
7 police officers in Rochester, New York, who were involved or at the scene when Daniel Prude was having a health episode earlier this year, have now been suspended. Prude died days after the encounter.
The mayor taking the action following the release of disturbing body cam footage this week, several months after the incident back in March. ABC's Romina Puga has the details.
In late March, Daniel Prude had been in the midst of what his family is calling a mental health episode when his brother called 911 for help. This week, the police body cam footage was released showing Rochester police officers pinning down the naked 41-year-old until he became unresponsive. Prude was pronounced dead in the hospital several days later. The medical examiner called his death a homicide, ruling that he died from complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint, excited delirium, and PCP. With the release of the video, there's now a divide between the mayor and her police chief. Mayor Lovely Warren says Chief LaRon Singletary told her Prude had died from an overdose while in custody. She claims she was not made aware of the officer's actions or the body cam video until last month.
I have addressed with the police chief how deeply and personally and professionally disappointed I am for him failing to fully and accurately inform me about what occurred with Mr. Prude.
The chief disputing the mayor's account, saying he ordered criminal and internal investigations into the incident. The mayor also saying the state attorney general's office asked her to not speak publicly about the case because it would interfere with their ongoing investigation. The mayor's decision to suspend the 7 officers involved with pay came after city council members who felt blindsided by the release of the body cam video sent a letter to the mayor calling on her to step down.
I'm very concerned about all the pieces of the puzzle not being together and being presented to me as a city council member.
Protests continued last night following the news of suspension, leaving 8 protesters arrested and 2 officers hurt, many calling for mental health reform. The mayor says additional funding for mental health assistance is coming, as well as changes to the department's response to mental health calls. In North Carolina, Romina Puga, ABC News.
Meanwhile, the suspect in connection to the death of a pro-Trump protester in Portland is dead after he was shot by officers who were trying to apprehend him. It happened last night in Lacey, Washington. Police say Michael Reinl was confronted by the FBI and U.S. Marshals while he was getting into a vehicle after leaving an apartment. The county sheriff's office says officers tried to stop the car. That's when Reinl allegedly pulled the gun on them and was shot by task force members.
According to the Russian Direct Investment Fund, clinical trial results from Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine, quote, confirmed the high safety and efficacy of the vaccine.
Results from the trials were published in the medical journal The Lancet. Those results claim to show immune responses generated in dozens of subjects. Meanwhile, Moscow's mayor announced that mass vaccine trials will begin next week with more than 5,000 volunteers already registered. The mayor also noted that he was taking part in the trials himself, having already received the first shot of the 2-stage vaccine.
And the CDC now predicting that another 21,000 people could die of COVID-19 in the next 2 weeks, as millions of Americans are expected to travel for Labor Day weekend. Overnight, the chief scientific advisor for President Trump's Operation Warp Speed said that while a vaccine before Election Day is possible but extremely unlikely, he has high hopes for a vaccine in 2020.
We may have enough vaccine by the end of the year to immunize probably, I would say, between 20 and 25 million people. And then we will ramp up the manufacturing to immunize the U.S. population by the middle of 2021.
This statement comes less than 48 hours after the CDC director urged governors nationwide to get ready for a possible vaccine release by November 1st. Now, this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci urged Americans to be cautious while they celebrate this holiday weekend, hoping to avoid an increase in cases due to large gatherings.
An alpaca named Tyson has been instrumental in the discovery of a tiny particle that can neutralize the coronavirus. Scientists discovered one nanobody, which is fragments of antibodies generated by Tyson in response to COVID-19 that has potential to be used for treatment. This nanobody appeared to quickly and efficiently neutralize novel coronaviruses. Testing will now begin to see if it is viable to be used in an antiviral treatment for COVID-19. Very interesting.
Wow, that alpaca is pretty held in high regard right now. Wow, okay. 12:35, 83 degrees outside. It is kind of muggy.
It's jumping back up. What's going on?
Yeah, temperature's fluctuating a little bit. You're going to see that today because the sun will pop out, the temperature will go up, then we get a rain shower, temperature comes back down. It'll be kind of back and forth, but we did lower temperatures into the upper 80s today. I think just because of the rain-cooled air that we've got around here, that should keep temperatures in check. Let's go to the radar, and you can see it is active. We got a lot going on here, much like yesterday, although it's a little bit earlier than yesterday. And you see the activity is sort of moving in different directions here. We've got some showers and storms on the west side of Bexar County that are kind of drifting and more or less, looks like kind of drifting out to the south with this outflow boundary there. These little showers and storms will put down some pretty good rain. Starting to see that pop up around Leon Valley as well, up there around Bernie. And then we've got some showers and storms also trying to move into Comfort and just to the east of Kerrville along I-10. These are going to put down some good rainfall as well. And then a nice little line that's starting to push off to the west, moving through Floresville. There's outflow boundary right there. You'll notice it's starting to spark off some new showers, getting closer to Bexar County. I think as this outflow boundary moves into Bexar County, we can see some more activity. Bottom line here is, looks like it should be active as we get into the afternoon. With these showers and storms, expect some lightning, some frequent lightning, and some brief heavy rain, but we're not looking for any severe weather today. Unfortunately, the rain did kick up the mold. If you missed this earlier, it's in the very high category. If that's something you're sensitive to, it really jumped up today. Forecast calls for a 40% chance of rain across the board. Downpours off and on today. 88 the high temperature. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We have more rain chances coming up tomorrow before things taper off a little bit. For Labor Day, we've got to look at that forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thanks, Justin. Hollywood is getting a screen test this holiday weekend. A big blockbuster movies hitting theaters. What steps theaters are taking to make sure you stay safe.
Plus, Boston and Toronto are dueling in the NBA playoffs. Game 3 went down to the final shot. See that later in sports.
And Taco Bell is changing up its menu, but the fast food chain isn't adding anything, instead removing items. How the efforts to streamline the menu means cutting a fan favorite, coming up in your consumer news.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
Hello everyone, this is your daily tech and business briefing from Cheddar. Tyson Foods taking one of their biggest steps yet to fight the coronavirus. The company will open medical clinics at several of their U.S. plants. This in order to improve the health of their workers as well as provide better protection from the virus. Meanwhile, Taco Bell is making some significant cuts to their food and beverage offerings. This as they try to streamline their menu. The chain is removing their fan favorite Mexican pizza. This in an attempt to get closer to their sustainability goals. Now, according to Taco Bell, the packaging from the Mexican pizza pizza and accounting for more than 7 million pounds of paperboard annually here in the U.S. And more job cuts are coming to Virgin Atlantic. The company reportedly planning to cut more than 1,000 jobs. This as international travel demand continues to drop because of the pandemic. According to Sky News, if the job cuts do occur, it would mean that Virgin Atlantic's workforce has basically halved from the 10,000 people they employed before the pandemic. And that's your Cheddar Business and Tech Update. I'm Baker Machado, coming to you from Cheddar Studios in Lower Manhattan.
A belated summer blockbuster season is finally arriving. Christopher Nolan's spy flick, Tenet, is now playing on the big screen, and theaters are finding ways to make sure movie fans stay safe. Regal Cinemas is using technology to serve up the classic theater experience with a touchless twist. The tearaway ticket stubs are gone. Your ticket, your popcorn, all of it will be purchased through the app. Even companies taking measures. Theater owners still say that customers should take their health into their own hands.
People should be concerned about their health, and they should be examining the protocols for safety wherever they go to leave their homes and go join people in public.
Theaters will also have hand sanitizing stations, and they're also extending cleaning times between showings by up to 30 minutes.
And if you're staying at home this Labor Day weekend and you are looking for something to watch with your kids, listen up. Mulan, it's coming out this weekend, but not in theaters. Disney chose to skip a theatrical release and go straight to the streaming service Disney+. However, the movie will have an extra charge for those who want to watch it. It will cost $30, and you can watch it as many times as you like. And what better weekend than this weekend to watch any movie, Disney movie, anything.
I'm not paying $30.
Well,
I'm telling you that.
That price tag, though.
We all looked at each other. We
I
were
was like, wait, hold on, what? Okay.
Well, maybe for the Lion King, but
does it like come down over time? Like, because we go 6 months in the future to
right.
the price?
Maybe it has a bonus.
We didn't even see commercials for it. Okay, anyway.
A lot of money. 83 degrees so far today. We do have some showers and storms out there. Officially, no rainfall at the airport today. We got some yesterday. But we should be able to add to that this afternoon. We'll have a look at the radar coming up. Welcome back. Showers and storms across South Texas today. Pretty widespread rainfall here on the live radars. We see more development here around Bexar County. So it's going to be hit or miss next couple of hours. But be prepared for some decent downpours if you get caught underneath one of these rainstorms. Right now, we're noticing an outflow boundary working into Bexar County. This may kick off some more showers and storms, especially on the southeast side of town. So be looking out for that. And you can see where some of the heavy rain was earlier, parts of Gonzales County, moving up towards Seguin. We saw some pretty good rain. And then some good showers and storms, good activity moving into Comfort. We are seeing a few lightning strikes here and there with this activity, but nothing severe. It's mostly just good downpours, good for the aquifer. And we showed you this cluster of storms here, starting to fall apart a little bit, but not before putting down some good rain around Floresville and Poth, and that outflow boundary starting to kick off more activity there. Just in the far western edge of Wilson County, seeing some new development around Pleasanton as well. This is just going to keep happening. We're going to see the radar, I think, stay fairly active through the afternoon. Luling getting some rain, Gonzales. We could go on and on here. But you see the 6-hour rainfall totals. They've been pretty healthy. Talking about nearly an inch in some spots. Now, this is radar estimated, but we've seen some ground truth to this. Did get a report over the last 2 days of nearly 4 inches up there at Canyon Lake. So these are efficient rain producers. It's good for the yard. It's good for the garden. But just be prepared if you're out and about driving or if you're going to be outside. Go ahead and grab the umbrella for sure, as we're going to see more of this. I'd say through the evening hours before we lose some of that daytime heating and this shower and storm activity goes away. Let's look at the aquifer and the rainfall totals over the last 24 hours, where you see some of these yellow colors. We're talking over 2 inches here around Bandera, Sisterdale. All of this over the recharge zone. So the aquifer is on its way up. And it usually takes a while for all this to sort of seep in. So look for that number to continue to go up even into tomorrow. It's just what the aquifer needed. And we have a little disturbance working right over us. It's weak, but there's a little bit of a spin there. And this is slowly moving out to the south and west. And as it does, we'll still see more showers and storms tomorrow, I think. But just an unsettled pattern in general here across our area. And if you're doing some traveling, I know a lot of people will be hitting the road. It's not just here. It is across a large portion of Central Texas and East Texas, too, that's seeing this rain. If Futurecast shows scattering of showers and storms this afternoon, some dying down this evening with the loss of daytime heating, and then kicking back in tomorrow. I think right now about a 40% chance of rain on your Saturday. Some of these showers and storms work in, and then Sunday things dry out a little bit. Some rain-cooled air at the airport, 83 degrees, although the sun's trying to pop out, so numbers will be variable today as far as temperatures are concerned. Northeasterly winds at about 10. Where you see the rain, temperatures are in the 70s. Where you're not seeing the rain, it's 80s and 90s. 92 in Pleasanton, 91 in Carrizo Springs. So temperatures, again, variable because of that rainfall, but we're thinking upper 80s here in San Antonio this afternoon. Very quickly, as we look off into the distance, into the future, Sunday, 5 o'clock, things are pretty quiet. But as we get into Monday, here comes potentially, or Tuesday, I should say, potentially a frontal boundary. We'll see. But I think the rain chances will bring us some cooler weather. If the front doesn't, right now, if we do see that front, looks like it'll be Wednesday. 88 degrees today, 92 Saturday, quieter Sunday and Monday. And look for those rain chances to kick in with that next front midweek next week, guys.
All right, Larry, so Houston Texans versus the Chiefs, we got a huge comeback to talk about.
Yes, we do, and we are less than, a week away now from the NFL season kicking off with the Texans at the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. Kansas City's favored by 9.5, but the Texans are feeling good about their chances. Plus, Cowboys defender Tyrone Crawford says the team has the green light when it comes to protesting. Coming up.
We got to play 4 quarters, and we can't, we got to be able to switch and stop the momentum from a great team.
That's Deshaun Watson talking about what he learned after watching KC come back from 24 points to beat the Texans in the playoffs last season in big board sports. We are quickly approaching the Dallas Cowboys' first game of the season at the LA Rams, and one hot topic continues to be, will the boys stand or take a knee during the national anthem, and will they do so as a team or individually? From wide receiver number 1 Amari Cooper to QB1 Dak Prescott, opinions on that topic differ. Defensive lineman Tyrone Crawford said the boys are planning to make a statement.
We definitely, have, the green light on all that. But, also just trying to, find something that's going to make a boom. It's not just going to be something that people look at one time and, kind of just swipe by it. They're like, oh, that's great. The Cowboys did that, and then swipe by it. I think we want to do something that makes a boom, and, that's something that people remembers, and it actually creates some change.
And we will see what happens Sunday, September 13th, 7:20 p.m. when the Rams host the Cowboys at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. It is about to get real for the Houston Texans, who will kick off the 2020 NFL season Thursday at the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, the 101st season of NFL action. The Texans held their final intra-squad scrimmage Wednesday, and doing so under the lights to better prepare for the night game in KC. The Texans got in some good work, had fun, and walked away healthy, says Deshaun Watson.
It went well. We're getting the details, finished up on exactly, of training camp and things like that. And, the beauty of it, everyone came out healthy. So, we all came out healthy, and the scrimmage was well, got some, good competitive plays and, in a setting where we got to get used to, especially for our home game. So it was nice to be able to get on the field and just kind of, let it loose.
KC will host Houston Thursday night at 7:20. The Chiefs will allow about 16,000 fans to attend the game at Arrowhead Stadium. Astros and Rangers wrapping up their 3-game series in Houston Thursday. Bottom of the first, Astros infielder Aldemus Diaz caps off a 4-run frame with a 3-run shot to left field, his first touch-em-all this season. Astros starter Zach Greinke went 6 strong. Houston wins 8-4, taking 2 of 3 from Texas, and they trail Oakland by 2 games in the AL West. Toronto was jumping for joy last night because the champs are back in the series. Game 3 between Boston and Toronto. Raptors down 2. Kyle Lowry passes across the court to OG Anunoby, who makes the 3 at the buzzer. Excellent pass. Huge bucket from that young man. Toronto takes it 104-103, and they trail in the series 2-1. And in the West semis, the Clippers rout the Nuggets 120-97 in Game 1 of that series.
Guys, and that Toronto game was crazy. Not only did he hit the buzzer beater, but he got it over Taco. That was like just by inches.
Yeah, like kind of like he just flicked it up in the air and arced right in.
Yep. Thank you, Larry. All right, so we have a lot of fun stuff coming up on SA Live today, but we don't have the milkshakes or any food that we had yesterday.
But no, you
pressure.
don't. However, I have a question for you, and that's going to be coming up in just a moment.
Okay.
So put your thinking caps
A
on.
riddle instead of food.
Well, yes, okay. Yeah, you got to live with that, pal. Anyway, hey, Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer, and we are going to send it out in style. How about something cool and refreshing? Look at how beautiful that is. We're going to try and make this beautiful, tasty treat that the whole family is going to love. Of course, a lot of folks may be headed to the beach for the long weekend. We're going to take you to a pizza joint where you can enjoy a delicious pie while looking at the Gulf. Are you hungry for something to binge watch? We talked with one of the stars of Hunger Games about how you can watch the games for free. And a long holiday weekend is the perfect time for a cold one. Jen's enjoying it. We're going to take you over to Beer Fest over there at SeaWorld. Okay, here's your question. Speaking of beer, what goes best with beer? Is it pizza, tacos, something else? Got your taste buds going here. We're going to pop the top on a new SA Live coming up.